Hey, I'm Brantley Gilbert, and I want to tell you about one of my favorite organizations for American gun owners. If you're a responsible gun owner, then you need the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. USCCA members get industry-leading self-defense education, training, and self-defense liability insurance. Trust me, hoping for the best is not a self-defense strategy. Check out why the USCCA is the fastest-growing organization for gun owners in America of its type. Click below to learn more now.
So this isn't fiction, this is something that happens all the time. An accident backs up traffic for miles and a snowstorm hits. Many people have died even in the last few years from events like that. Or perhaps all the gas stations are out of gas all of a sudden and you're on a road trip, you can't fill up and you run out of gas in the middle of nowhere. All kinds of things can go sideways and you guys gotta make sure you got the skills to be able to survive in case things go south. I'm joined by my buddy Jason, pro knife thrower, but you're also a big survival guy, right?
Yeah. Grew up in the country for many years and bushcraft survival's always been close to my heart.
What are some do's and don'ts when I'm stuck out in the open, the temperature may be dropping?
Obviously we can't sleep in our vehicle when it's super cold unless we have basic provisions that are going to keep us warm. And if we don't, like a sleeping bag or something to keep heat going, then a vehicle can be a death trap. Depending on the situation, if you're plummeting into exposure level temperatures, obviously we want to get off the road, especially if you can be hit by another vehicle, or if you get covered up with snow, you're invisible, you'll suffocate, things like that. So yeah, definitely don't stay in the vehicle. Let's look instead at what our vehicle can offer us to survive.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
I knew it was gonna break down.
Ooh, so hey, this right here. Yeah. Sleep pad. Awesome. I got a med kit up front trying to show you that I have the goodies.
We can't use it for our primitive survival situation because you don't have this stuff.
But I like it. All right, yeah. we can't use any of this stuff. And so I can't use my satellite phone. All right, very good. All right, so I have all kinds of survival gear goodies in here that you're not letting me use because it's cheating.
Luxurious.
Luxurious, so what did we come up with?
So basically, found this under your seat. Must have been forgotten about. Got 2 things of water.
And this is a space blanket.
Yep.
I always keep one in like medical kits and stuff. So
you got a knife and a tomahawk, a lighter, some cordage, and I guess we get to arm wrestle over whose sleeping mat that is.
I'll take first shift, but the shift is during the nighttime.
Okay. So now you got to survive with this because the temperature is going to drop, and you have about 2 hours before the vehicle turns into a cold can of tuna, and you start getting exposure.
All right, very good. And so I don't want to destroy my seats and rip stuff out. We're just going to do the simple stuff. We're just going to take this, even though there's a lot of this vehicle we could still salvage.
Absolutely. I mean, I could turn this into a heated tin can. It depends on how much we want to destroy it. We could work this out to where I strip the whole inside of the vehicle and turn that into the base for a camp, depending on how long we're going to be stopped.
Got it.
You know what I mean? So that's all things to consider.
Yeah, let's not do that because I'd like to drive this one day again.
We'll get it off the road today.
All right, well, let's go build an emergency shelter.
All right. Well, what are you thinking?
I saw this little burrow right here, and that's a little bit below ground. And I don't know, would it make sense to build something up over it?
Well, jet stream's coming from the west. I'm gonna look at where we are on the hill. This is a nice spot, but it's also, I gotta build everything from scratch. I got a little nice lull in the ground, but you see those trees right over there?
Uh-huh.
Those trees right over there are already kind of built. You see that little tivy in the ground right there?
Yeah.
Well, I can start with that structure. I already have a hanging tree that is very good pre-built already.
So this is our snuggle spot.
It's our snuggle spot. We got to build a shelter for 2 men, so we're going to go a little bigger.
Have you ever snuggled with a grown man to stay alive?
Not on camera.
All right, so while Jason's doing some general prep work, I found an excuse to not have to do any manual labor. What I'm interested in right now is I'd like to write a note and leave it with the vehicle as long as this isn't some apocalyptic, avoid the marauders kind of scenario, and say, hey, help, we have gone in this direction, we're stranded, blah, 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 call for help, you know, honk a horn, something so that we can hear you and be able to make way back. So I want to leave notes on the front and back of the vehicles. Additionally, I have my cell phone. I don't have a way to charge it because he wouldn't let me bring my portable battery charger with me on this little scenario here. But I want to use what battery I have to be able to get on top of hills and travel around the area a little bit to see if I can make an emergency call. I'll use my GPS watch to be able to give lat-long coordinates if I'm not really exactly sure where I am. Hashtag have a GPS watch because they're amazing. Other things that I need to be able to do is find sources of water. We only brought 2 bottles of water with us. He wouldn't let me bring the other water because I'm too prepared for this scenario. So we only have 2 bottles of water. I need more water, and I also need food. I happen to have a gun because all men should have guns on them at all times. And so this was in my vehicle so I can do hunting. If I didn't have this luxury, Jason will be able to build traps and stuff and cool apocalyptic survival things that I don't know how to do yet. So let's visit Jason and see how his prep work's doing on our shelter.
So we got to stay here tonight. We've got no cell phone service. We need to procure shelter. We're gonna have you go out with that little rifle about dusk and get us some food if you can. I'm gonna go gather some of the main supports so I can use to fortify this section because we're gonna want to keep ourselves warm at night. So basically what we're gonna have here is a little domed off shelter, and I'm gonna use that blanket, that emergency blanket that we got, to kind of give us some cover. Okay. We're gonna light a fire at the front, and then at nighttime we can pull the coals in. So we'll wanna get us a big fire going later, but for now, I'm gonna dig this out a little bit, get us a clean spot. We're gonna cut these up and process these so we can use them for supports and posts, and then we're gonna kind of make a little TP shelter with a pie-shaped opening if we can.
Okay.
Just enough that it's gonna keep wind, and we can light a fire.
Let's do it.
All right. So I'm out looking for supports. What I'm looking for is multiple use. Straight, so I can use it for structural. A lot of these branches are dead, so I can use them for fire building, just thatching in extra wind protection. But I can get these long straight sections, cut them up in pieces, and then ideally I want to get some dead stuff so that I can make use of the resource. Light it on fire. There's nothing wrong with throwing branches around the outside of your shelter to make more of a deterrent or a barrier for curious wildlife. You'll hear them easier.
Is that cedar?
Yep. It's dead, but the parts of this that are dead are gonna work great for fire and stuff at night. But we'll use some of the big timber for structure.
The cedar burns so hot?
Yeah, and it's also anti-bugs.
Cedar is?
Yep, cedar burning, cedar anti-mosquito stuff.
Yo, looking good.
Hey, how'd hunting go?
So I found some big game. However, I am positive that if I shot them, the owner of them would be extremely angry. These guys right there. Just found cows. Tagged ear cows. My tags. I'm not gonna shoot my cows.
So I'm going to take this Mylar blanket, or this Nestle Crunch wrapper.
Yes.
We're gonna line the inside of this as much as we can because what I wanna do is reflect the heat that we're gonna start from a fire here. This is not much, but this is what we have. Get it lined up to the middle. I don't wanna put holes in it, you know?
Put these up.
And then around the base, we'll just lay our branches in and we'll use our green stuff to thatch in there too, you know what I mean? Once we kind of get this set, I'm gonna just give it a little bit of an outer shell here too because we're gonna lay crap on top of it.
I'm grabbing pine needles, kind of mashing them all up, trying to get as many little tears as I can. It'll ignite easier as tinder.
Okay, so we have our primitive shelter here, and what I've done is cleared away the ground, lowered it in there a little bit so we have a nice clean spot to work. I've dug a fire pit here, sort of a makeshift Dakota fire pit, which is not really, but I have a wall built up around here because I'm trying to control where the heat and the sparks may go. I also have a way to put it out quickly with the dirt, and then I have a little channel so I can reach the bottom of the fire. And what that's gonna do is hopefully direct some of that heat into the shelter. So we're gonna start our fire here so the heat goes up and it doesn't start our shelter on fire, but we'll get some of that radiant heat. And as that fire goes, we can reach in that channel and pull some of those coals into the fire, into the actual shelter. So good stuff.
How do I get in without second degree?
Well, see, what you do is step around and lean in and dive in. Just don't burn yourself.
Nope, I'm just going for it. I need a little bit of a running start.
Oh, Jesus.
There we go. Give me a 3 count.
1, 2, 3.
No, I got scared on 3. I'm going on 4. Here we go.
You dove in.
Oh, this is nice.
It's nice and warm inside though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's quite toasty.
The secret to all this is just create a spot where it's not going to catch my shelter on fire, you know, wet branches, dry branches, whatever it is, but this is clean. This is not burnable ground, but you can feel that heat radiating and you'll start sweating in here. And once these coals kind of die down, we don't have to have the fire so high. We can just let the coals kind of keep going, keep the fire going a little bit, pull some coals in if we get cold, and you know.
I say we rock, paper, scissors to find out who's big spoon, who's little spoon. Which one are you rooting for? I did a thumbs up. Thumbs up wins. Thumbs up wins.
Thumbs up means you
This
want to be
guy's
the little
big
spoon.
So today we've been talking stranded roadside emergency. And we kind of went to a worst case. You got caught out in the open, no cars are coming by, you're not getting cell phone reception, help may be very far away, and you need to stay alive with plunging temperatures. What are some additional considerations that we may miss? And it's hard to do because it's like infinite.
Infinite, right. So obviously, depending on the temperature, we want shelter first. If it's nice 75 degrees outside, like it is here in beautiful Georgia, then I'm not worried so much about that. If I was to build a shelter first, I'm gonna procure food first. I'm gonna set rabbit traps, I'm gonna set any snare traps I can get. I'm gonna try to procure food before I scare everything away building a shelter.
Right.
If it's like that. Otherwise, I'm gonna look for water sources, things like that. Just depends on the time, the temperature, and how long you really need to be here.
So many skills to learn. I'm on a journey, I'm learning more and more, and I'm grateful to have my bro, Jason, pro knife thrower, hooking me up, taking me to school a bit, and bringing you guys along. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, toggle notifications on all, like, share, comment. Check down below for relevant links as well as Jason's information. Train hard, train smart, stay free, and don't die on the side of a road like a human popsicle. Good advice.
That's good advice.
I'm gonna take that advice.
Sage advice.
Let's go snuggle in our shelter.
All right, man.
Just kidding.
I'm going to show you how to devastatingly deliver an impact to a person who's out of your reach. So if I have this as a tool in my toolbox and the opportunity arises, then I have a second to decide whether or not I can take him to church. So this is a level 3 hard plate and my knife just went right through it.